Now we're back, and it's January, and it's Merry Dettmas, and a big piece of Merry Dettmas is around mortgage renewals. 14% of Canadians are coming up for renewal their mortgage this year.
14%.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, and it's a lot considering the mortgage rates that they'll be, or the interest rates they'll be looking at.
Yeah, a lot of Canadians are going to be renewing into mortgages that are literally have a rate at double what their rate that they're renewing out of, which is significant. And I think a lot of people think that their mortgage payments are going to double. It's not, but their cost of borrowing is doubling.
Yep.
And what can you do? And I think that's what we're really going to talk about here on our
Okay, all right. So what indeed can they do?
I would say the first step is do not just renew with your existing lender. I think we're just like so innate to be like, we have so much on the go. It's a new year. We don't want to deal with our problems, but just don't sign the renewal and be done with it. At least make a telephone call and seek the advice of an unbiased mortgage professional. They can tell you, is this a good deal? Is it not a good deal? Should you change the structure? And at renewal, as we said, it's such a great time to look at things like our refinance. Maybe a restructuring makes sense. Maybe you need a home equity line of credit. It's good to at least have the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Is there a time, I suppose, depending if somebody's had a job change or they've lost a job or they perhaps might have had a credit issue, to just simply quietly let the bank renew it?
Some cases, yes.
Yeah.
Some cases, a renewal is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at least have the conversation and know where you are at and make a plan. Because, lenders are like the cell phone companies. I've said this before. They treat new customers better than they treat the existing customers. That's just the nature of their business.
Yes.
And always, the first offer they're going to give you is never the best offer. That's not like our business.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a ceiling and a floor. We just give everyone the best rate that we can give them. But in a renewal situation, lenders love trying to renew customers into a higher rate. That's just what they do. They are trying to make the most margin for their shareholders. Right?
So how often when you have a renewal, do you move somebody from their existing lender in which you would have had them in to another lender?
I'm going to say it's not 100% because oftentimes we'll give, if it's a lender that we do business with, we always give that lender the kind of the first
crack at it.
Try and give them the
first crack at it. They know the customer.
And sometimes it's the least, the lowest path of resistance.
Right.
There are some lenders that we work with that really love welcoming their existing customers back. And, because we're involved, they'll still treat them the best, like a new customer. But there's other lenders that we work with that basically say, hey, you're up for renewal? No. We don't want to rework it. We don't want to lend you anymore.
Why?
Just the nature of their business. Just their model.
So they've got a good client that's paying their bills? And
they would sometimes rather that client pay out than really try to aggressively retain them or really letting us help them rework their situation. Mm-hmm. Different lenders work different ways. Mm-hmm. And some lenders are really gracious where they'll allow us to get an approval sometimes like 8 months before the renewal, and we can fund it 4 months prior, and they'll not charge the client a penalty. They'll pay us. And they just love and say, hey, you're helping us retain these customers. Mm-hmm. And other lenders are like, we don't really want you to be involved.
Yeah. So in your business, I would think that the straight renewal with no changes, same lender, that's got to be the easiest transaction in your business, I would dare say.
Yeah. Typically, we don't get involved in a straight renewal. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't. Typically, in a renewal basis where clients are not borrowing any additional money, so no new funds, and they're keeping the amortization in line with where they're at or shortening it, we would move a client from lender to lender so then they're a new customer again. Mm-hmm. We call that a transfer or an assignment. And we would use a company like First Canadian Title to do that registration. All the costs are typically covered by the new lender. And that's sometimes the most aggressive type of business that we do. Because in theory, you could just renew with your existing lender. Mm-hmm. But by us getting involved, we're able to reposition it and present you as a new customer again to another lender and really hopefully get the best rate and the best terms for your needs. Everybody's situation changes, right? As you know.
Yeah. All right. And part of what you guys do is you're not a typical mortgage lending business. You integrate a lot of different things into it, including a kind of financial planning. You have in-house financial planners who we've met over Financial Literacy Month, take care of other things. But you try and look at the entire picture through yearly interviews or meetings with your clients, right?
Yeah, we love doing annual reviews. And I think, some mortgage lenders and brokers and brokerages are more like a burn and churn. They're in the transaction business. I believe that we are more in the advice business, Todd.
But isn't it amazing though how it never gets old? Like there's always, and again in the climate that we're living in today with mortgages, but everything always is changing in this industry in many ways.
And it's changing now, I think, faster than it's ever changed before, which for me is very exciting. Because I think when you've done the same thing for 17 years, like I've been doing mortgage lending for a long time, you've been in the media business a long, long time, that, sometimes it gets stale and it's hard to be like, getting excited about it. But, when we come to do things like this show, for example, it puts you out of your comfort zone. I'm not a professional. I see clients every day, and I think sometimes that even surprises people when they come into our office to be like, oh, I can actually see Clinton. No, that's my full-time job. I'm doing this more as a public service. You know what I mean? Like we're here for the education, and we like to talk about it, and we get to do some fun things. Like we share this on social media. We're making some reels and things like this. So, I think it's really fun. And you know what? I love when people write us. They send us emails and be like, hey, can you talk about this on your show? And we did so many call-ins in the month of November for Financial Literacy Month, and we were answering calls live on the air, which was awesome. So during
we'll do that again we'll do that again in November.
We'll do that again, next November for sure. But if you have something that you want us to talk about on this show, we're on all year long. Send me an email, send Todd an email, send us a tweet, however you want to get a hold of us. And we'd love to answer your call on the show. Or if, there's a professional you want us to bring in, we're going to bring in lots of awesome guests all year long. So we're really excited about it.
All right. What's the very best way for people to get a hold of you?
I think check us out online first is the best. So visit us at teamclinton.ca/radio. We have hundreds of blog posts on there. There's all our contact information. You can visit us or all our social media accounts, and you can see, what Todd and I look like in real life.
Handsome as hell.
Of course we are. If you've liked what you've heard and you want to learn more, feel free to visit us online at teamclinton.ca.